Okay, so that knot in your stomach, you know the one. It kind of tightens when you see another headline about rising prices, or you hear whispers about potential job shifts.
Mm-hmm.
You're not imagining things. It feels like the world is just in constant motion, doesn't it? From groceries to, well, everything.
Yeah, global events, the cost of living. It's a lot.
And if you are feeling that uncertainty, that sense of things being a little, I don't know, wobbly, please know that you are absolutely not alone.
No, it's a very common feeling right now, and totally understandable. When the whole financial landscape feels unstable, it definitely creates that sense of unease.
And that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We're going to explore a really practical resource. It's designed to help us navigate exactly these kinds of times.
Okay.
Now, right up front, this isn't some sprawling textbook or a typical digital book you might download. It's really a focus guide.
A guide, right.
Yeah, it's titled Navigating Uncertain Times. A practical guide to saving, budgeting, and investing when life feels out of control. Because financial resilience starts with what you do today, even when the world feels unstable.
That's quite a title, but it gets straight to the point.
It really does. And it's all thanks to the insights of Nicole L. Turner. She's the author of this guide.
Ah, yes, Nicole's guide. I've heard good things. It sounds like it's really accessible and actionable. Cuts through the noise, maybe.
Exactly. That's our mission here, to pull out the key doable strategies that Nicole lays out in her guide.
Makes sense.
We want to help you, our listener, build a stronger sense of financial peace. And we're going to do it by focusing on, real-life advice straight from Nicole's guide.
So no complicated jargon or those quick fix promises.
Definitely not. Just practical wisdom. And it all seems to center around Nicole's core idea, which I think really hits the mark. She says, turbulence is a part of life, but with the right tools, you can learn to fly through it.
That's a powerful analogy, isn't it? It acknowledges the challenges, but right away suggests we can actually, do something about them.
Totally. So where does Nicole suggest we even begin? How do we get these tools?
Good question. The starting point.
Well, the first chapter of her guide, it focuses on understanding exactly where you're starting from. As Nicole puts it, you can't build a plan if you don't know your starting point.
Sounds simple, but it's so true.
It does sound straightforward, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, how many of us truly have that clear, detailed snapshot of our current finances?
It's such a foundational step, and it can be surprisingly easy to just gloss over it, right? We might have a general sense, but Nicole really emphasizes getting down to the specifics.
Right. What do you think of the common stumbling blocks? Why do people avoid nailing down that starting point?
Well, I think sometimes it just feels overwhelming, or maybe a bit uncomfortable if you suspect the picture isn't quite what you'd hope it is. Avoidance, maybe?
Yeah, that makes sense. But Nicole highlights it as the crucial first step, knowing your numbers. And she breaks it down for us in the guide. 4 key areas.
Okay, what are they?
Your income, all the money coming in regularly, your expenses really tracking where every dollar is going each month.
Every dollar. That sounds intense.
Well, she suggests ways to do it. Then there's your debt, the total amount you owe. And finally, your current savings, what you actually have set aside.
And this isn't about just guessing, is it? Does Nicole give specific actions in the guide?
Oh, absolutely. She strongly advises writing it all down. Every income source, every single expense.
Writing it down.
And
Great.
She gives options too, which is nice. You could use budgeting apps. She mentions Mint or YNA, which you can automate a lot of the tracking.
Right, those can be helpful.
Or if you prefer, just grab a pen and a notebook. Go old school. The key thing, as Nicole emphasizes in the guide, is getting it out of your head and onto paper or a screen. Make it tangible.
Get it concrete.
Exactly. And then comes the really insightful part. Subtract your total expenses from your total income. That gives you the real picture. Are you in surplus, deficit, just breaking even?
That difference, that net result, that's the critical piece of info, isn't it? It shows you exactly how much wiggle room you have, or maybe where you really need to make some changes.
Totally. Where do you think people usually underestimate their expenses? Those little things.
Oh, definitely those smaller recurring ones. The daily coffee, subscriptions you forgot about.
Impulse buys online.
Exactly. They add up fast. Nicole's focus on writing everything down really helps shine a light there, I bet.
For sure. Okay, so once you have that clear picture, that starting point, Nicole moves into something really vital in chapter 2 of her guide. It's about shifting your mindset.
The mental game. So important.
Totally. Her core message here is about empowerment over fear, which, let's be honest, is crucial in uncertain times. I love this quote from her guide. You don't need to have it all figured out to take the first step.
That's so encouraging, isn't it? Because that feeling of being overwhelmed, it can stop you before you even start.
Right. Nicole's approach seems to be about, demystifying it all, encouraging small, manageable actions.
So what kind of negative mindsets does she tackle in the guide?
Well, she talks quite a bit about letting go of guilt, maybe regrets about past money decisions.
We all have those.
And also really resisting that urge to compare your finances to other people's. As she points out in the guide, everyone's journey is unique. So many different factors, different circumstances, you never see the whole picture anyway.
That's such a key point, especially with social media making it look like everyone else has it perfect. Nicole's reminder to just focus on your path is really valuable.
Absolutely. And Nicole also hammers home the importance of focusing on progress, not perfection.
Ah, yes. The perfection trap.
Exactly. You're not going to fix everything overnight, and that's okay. It's about those small, consistent steps forward. And I really like this thought from her guide. You're not behind. You're simply starting at a different chapter. And that's okay.
That's a very compassionate way to put it. Validating. Everyone's timeline is different.
Right. So, okay, you know your numbers. You're working on the mindset. What's next, according to Nicole's guide? Chapter 3 gets into starting small with saving.
Saving, okay.
And I think this is such a critical message for people who feel like, I just don't earn enough to save anything meaningful.
Right. It's not worth saving just a little bit idea.
Exactly. But Nicole's belief, which she states in the guide, is saving small isn't a weakness, it's a strategy.
And she's absolutely right. Even tiny amounts saved consistently really add up. Compounding, right. But maybe more importantly, like Nicole points out, it builds the habit.
Yes. Why does she emphasize the habit so much in the guide?
Well, Nicole explains that building that habit, even with small bits, it creates a sense of security. Control, even. Like you're building a buffer for unexpected stuff.
Okay, like a safety net.
Exactly. Plus, she highlights it's a key step towards that all-important emergency fund, which you definitely need in uncertain times. And beyond the practical side, Nicole says it builds confidence, strengthens your financial discipline, like exercising a muscle, The more you do it, the stronger it gets.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And does Nicole give practical tools or starting points in her guide? How do you build that muscle?
She does. She mentions high-yield savings accounts, HYSAs.
Right, like Ally or Capital One 360. She names those. They usually offer much better interest rates than like your regular bank account.
And she also talks about those roundup apps like Acorns. They automatically invest your spare change.
Ah, yeah, saving without really thinking about it.
Exactly. Those can be surprisingly effective for just gradually accumulating savings.
Yeah.
Especially if finding bigger chunks to save feels hard right now.
And for actually starting intentional saving. What does Nicole suggest in the guide?
Really simple stuff. Try saving just $5 or $10 a week.
That feels doable.
Right. And even better, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer so it just happens.
Takes the decision out of it each week.
Precisely. And she also suggests trying out no spend days, just a conscious effort to cut back on non-essential spending now and then.
Those small, consistent actions again. Nicole really emphasizes that they're more sustainable than trying to make huge, drastic changes all at once.
Exactly. It's about building momentum.
Okay, so savings are starting to build up. Chapter 4 of Nicole's guide moves on to budgeting, but with a really important twist. Budgeting for unpredictability.
Ah, flexible budgeting.
Yeah, her main advice here is flexibility is your friend. Because let's face it, life rarely goes exactly to plan, especially when things feel uncertain.
So true. A budget that's too rigid just feels restrictive, and it breaks the moment something unexpected happens. Nicole's emphasis on building in flexibility is key to making it stick. What approaches does she suggest?
So Nicole outlines a few different methods in her guide. You could do a traditional monthly budget, but like she advises, build in some buffer room for surprises.
Okay.
She also talks about zero-based budgeting. That's where every single dollar gets assigned a job, spending, saving, debt, nothing left unassigned.
Keeps things tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people who like something more tangible, she mentions the envelope system.
Yeah.
Using actual cash in envelopes for different categories.
Cash stuffing, yeah. Very visual.
Each method has pros and cons, right? And as Nicole points out, the best one really depends on you, your habits, your personality. Yeah. The key is finding something that feels manageable and you can actually stick with.
Consistency over complexity.
Exactly. And for times when things feel really tight financially, Nicole offers a helpful guideline in her guide, the 70-20-10 rule.
70-20-10, how does that work?
Roughly 70% of your income goes to essential needs and living expenses. 20% goes towards saving or paying down debt. And the last 10% is for giving or, importantly, self-care.
That's a simple framework. It provides structure when you feel stretched thin, making sure saving and debt still get some attention, even if it's less.
Yeah, it helps prioritize. Okay, so you've got a handle on the budget, you're saving. Chapter 5 in Nicole's guide moves into protecting your peace of mind and your money.
Connecting the mental and the financial.
Right. She makes this great point. A peaceful mind leads to clearer decisions. When you're stressed about money, it's easy to make impulsive, fear-based choices that aren't great long-term.
That emotional side of finance is huge, but often ignored. Nicole highlighting that link between well-being and decision quality, that's crucial. So what practical steps does she suggest in the guide?
Okay, several actionable things.
Yeah.
First, take a hard look at recurring expenses. Cut out stuff that no longer serves you, unused subscriptions, forgotten apps. Maybe even address some unhealthy spending habits.
The subscription creep. It's real.
Totally. Then she suggests being proactive. Try renegotiating bills. Your cell phone, insurance, maybe even credit card interest rates. Just ask.
You'd be surprised what you can get sometimes just by calling. Taking that initiative can free up cash flow without massive lifestyle changes.
Exactly. And finally, Nicole talks about creating money boundaries.
Money boundaries, like what?
Could be setting limits on non-essential spending, or maybe being firm about not lending money if it puts your own security at risk.
Okay, protecting your own financial health.
Right. And I love this bonus tip she throws in the guide. If you're feeling anxious or impulsive about a big purchase, wait 24 hours.
The 24-hour rule.
Yes. That pause can really help you figure out if it's a real need or just, an emotional urge.
That's a fantastic strategy for hitting the brakes on emotional spending. Make sure buys align with goals.
Okay, so understanding finances, mindset shift, saving small, flexible budgeting, protecting your peace. What's next, according to Nicole's guide?
Feels like we're building something here.
We are. Chapter 6. It's about taking that first step into investing, even when things feel uncertain.
Investing in uncertain times. That sounds scary to some people.
It can, yeah. But I really appreciate Nicole's perspective here. She says, even in a storm, seeds can take root. It's a reminder that small actions now can really pay off long term.
That's a great way to frame it. The idea of starting to invest when the economy feels volatile, it can feel counterintuitive. But as Nicole rightly points out in her guide, consistent small investments over the long haul, that's a powerful wealth-building strategy. What approach does she recommend for beginners?
She keeps it simple. Nicole recommends starting with as little as $25 a month.
$25, that's it.
Yep. Investing it in an exchange-traded fund, an ETF. She mentions examples like VOO or VTI.
Okay, explain ETFs quickly for folks who might not know.
Sure. An ETF is basically one fund that holds a whole bunch of different stocks. So you get instant diversification across lots of companies with just one purchase. Makes it less risky than picking individual stocks.
Got it. Broad market exposure.
Exactly. And she suggests using user-friendly platforms. Mentioning Fidelity, Vanguard, M1 Finance places that make it pretty easy for beginners to get started.
Yeah, those index ETFs like VOO and VTI are super low-cost ways to track the market. A solid foundation for long-term investing, especially when you're just starting out.
And Nicole really stresses this in her guide. Prioritize consistency over the amount you invest, especially at first.
Right. The habit again.
Yeah. Build that long-term habit of investing regularly. Don't try to time the market, she notes. That's basically impossible, even for pros.
That focus on regular contributions like dollar cost averaging, no matter the market's ups and downs, that lets compounding really work over time.
Definitely. Okay, but life happens, right? Unexpected challenges pop up. Job loss, medical bills.
Always something.
So Nicole dedicates Chapter 7 of her guide to creating emergency income.
Side hustles or extra cash flow.
Exactly. And she starts with this really empowering statement. You are more resourceful than you realize. A good reminder to tap into your existing skills and assets when you need to.
Having multiple income streams is such a critical safety net, isn't it? Especially now. Reduces reliance on just one job. What options does Nicole suggest in the guide?
So she outlines several possibilities. Selling unused stuff online, Facebook Marketplace. eBay can be a quick way to get some cash.
Declutter and earn. Win-win.
Right. If you have specific skills writing, graphic design, virtual assistant stuff, freelancing is a great option. Leverage what you already know.
Use your talents.
And then there's the gig economy.
Yeah.
Driving, delivery, online tutoring. Lots of options there.
And Nicole wisely points out, right, that you should focus on stuff you might actually enjoy, or at least tolerate. And that fits your time.
Yes, good point. You don't want to add more stress by taking on something you dread.
Yeah.
Ideally, it should feel manageable, maybe even a little enjoyable, to make it sustainable.
Makes total sense.
Okay, another big source of stress. Debt. Nicole tackles this head-on in Chapter 8 of her guide. And again, with an empowering perspective. Debt doesn't define you, your plan does.
Love that. Shifting focus from the problem to the solution, it's about taking proactive steps to get back in control. So what strategies does Nicole recommend for managing debt in the guide?
She outlines two well-known methods. The snowball method.
Pay off smallest debts first for momentum. Quick wins.
Right. And the avalanche method.
Prioritize highest interest rates first. Saves more money long term.
Exactly. Both work, they just have different psychological and mathematical benefits. As Nicole notes, the best choice often depends on you, what keeps you motivated.
Personal preference is key there.
And Nicole also gives some really practical advice in her guide. Don't be afraid to call your creditors.
Talk to them. Really?
Yeah. Many companies are willing to work out hardship plans, maybe lower interest rates or payments, especially if you're genuinely struggling. Just ask.
People shouldn't feel ashamed or scared to have those conversations. You might be surprised what's possible.
Totally. And again, she emphasizes progress, not perfection. Even small, consistent steps towards paying down debt make a big difference over time.
Every little bit helps chip away at it.
Okay, so to make all this feel less abstract, Chapter 9 of Nicole's guide is full of real-life stories, resilience stories. I found these really powerful.
Real examples. Those always help.
Nicole puts it well in the guide. Ordinary people, extraordinary grit. She shares stories of folks who face financial challenges and use these principles to navigate through.
Powerful illustrations of how this stuff works in the real world.
Yeah, like Tanya. Laid off from retail after 15 years, very little savings. Inspired by Nicole's advice in the guide, she started selling custom t-shirts online.
Okay.
6 months later, she was covering her rent and starting to contribute to a Roth IRA.
Wow, that's amazing.
Her quote really stuck with me. I didn't know anything about business, but I knew I couldn't wait for someone to save me. I had to move, even if it was slow.
That really speaks to just taking initiative, doesn't it? Not being afraid to try something new, even when you're unsure.
Totally. Then there's Chris. Worked in travel for decades, pandemic hits, career stops.
Oof, tough spot.
He pursued his photography passion, started freelancing, and now has steady side income and a good emergency fund thanks to these principles. He said, losing what I thought was security helped me build something real and more flexible.
Shows how challenges can sometimes lead to unexpected opportunities and greater resilience.
Sure. And one more, Renee. Never really budgeted before 2022. Inflation hits, she decides to take a course inspired partly by Nicole's approach in the guide.
Okay, so she got serious about budgeting.
Yep. 3 months later, cut $400 from her monthly spending and opened her first investment account.
That's huge progress.
She said, I used to feel like I was drowning. Now I feel like I'm swimming, even if it's still hard.
That feeling of gaining control. It's so powerful, reduces so much stress.
Nicole shares other stories too in the guide, but the common thread, exactly what she emphasizes. They started small, and they kept going, even when it was hard. No magic overnight fix, just consistent effort.
Those real stories make the concepts feel so much more attainable, don't they? Relatable.
Definitely. So after all the strategies and stories, Nicole wraps up in Chapter 10 of her guide with your roadmap forward. And her message is super encouraging. This is your comeback season.
I like that. Positive framing.
Yeah. She suggests setting small, manageable mini goals each week. Maybe track spending for a few days, save that small amount, cancel one subscription, invest that $25 she mentioned.
Breaking it down into weekly actions makes it feel less overwhelming, more achievable.
For sure. She also recommends writing a financial affirmation, a positive statement you repeat to reinforce your goals, like, I am building financial security one step at a time.
Positive self-talk.
And she encourages taking time to reflect on your core values. What does financial peace really mean to you?
Connecting the money stuff to your deeper values, that provides real purpose and motivation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And in her final thoughts section in the guide, Nicole leaves us with this powerful reminder. You are not behind. You are beginning right on time.
That's great. Takes the pressure off.
Yeah. Focus on the path ahead. Take just one small action today. Open that savings account, read an article, download a budget app, whatever it is.
Just start somewhere.
Exactly. And she ends her guide with these affirmations. You are capable, you are worthy, you are right on time.
Wow. That message of starting right where you are, taking that first step, it's so crucial. Gets rid of that feeling you need everything perfect before you begin.
Totally. And the guide doesn't just end there. Nicole includes a fantastic bonus resources section.
Oh, extras. Nice.
Yeah, packed with practical tools, recommendations for budgeting and investing apps she likes, lists of free online resources, compound interest calculators, investment education websites.
That's super helpful. Saves listeners time hunting for reliable stuff themselves.
Exactly. She also includes a recommended reading list, a practical Excel budget template.
Very handy.
And even a structured 4-week challenge. Specific weekly action steps to help you start implementing everything from the guide.
Oh, a challenge. That gives a clear path to put it all into practice right away.
It really does. So, yeah, to kind of wrap it all up, the core message from Nicole L. Turner's guide, Navigating Uncertain Times, it's really about taking those small, consistent steps, building financial resilience, especially when the world feels, unpredictable.
It really sounds like a guide that emphasizes practical strategies, that positive mindset shift, and just empowering people to take real control of their finances no matter where they're starting from.
Absolutely. And we've really just skimmed the surface here in this deep dive, pulling out some key strategies from Nicole's insightful work. It truly is a guide designed to empower you, our listener.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, here's a final thought for you to mull over. What's the one small step, inspired by Nicole's guide, that you could actually commit to taking today?
Just one thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's opening that high-yield savings account while you're listening. Or finally, jotting down your income and expenses tonight. Remember Nicole's reminder. Starting, even small, is the most important part.
Get the ball rolling.
Exactly. And if you want more detail, all those strategies, those bonus resources we mentioned, definitely check out Nicole L. Turner's full guide, Navigating Uncertain Times.